Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the British Boring Car Championship. Man, this song gets me hyped up for this. Elysium by Lost Boy and Slash Tack. I am Chaz Draycott, and this is rounds 13 and 14 of the second season in the British Boring Car Championship. And we're here at Brands Hatch Indy, the circuit that gave us some incredible racing last season that was not matched really anywhere else. As we get to the latter stages in the championship now, it's still looking very, very feisty at the top. We'll walk you through the points. Matt Draycott and Jake Robertson are the two title runners at the moment. Matt Draycott top of the standings after taking 4 race wins this season. Same with Jake Robertson. The two of them tying on race wins with overall race winner Tom Jacobs, who also has 4. Only Dennis Melcher with 5 wins has more. Matt Draycott got 2 second places last week, with Jake Robertson missing out, unfortunately, due to commitments elsewhere. Calvin Dent had a really poor round, though, only getting 1 point from qualifying, and then that was it. Steve Burke got a really, really good round. He got his first race win in the feature race. Dan McCauley, a bit further down in 14th, actually tied with his teammate on 22 points each as well, the two Scotsmen. He actually got his first race win as well in the sprint race after losing it on the start. An amazing job to climb back through. Calvin Dent doesn't have too much to worry about, though, in the Mediocre Cup for Independence. He's got 90 points over Maciej Sakovic, is 35. However, we do have Maciej back with us this evening. He's missed a couple of rounds recently. There he is, just going out the pits now. He's not been with us for a couple of rounds due to other commitments, but we finally have him back in the series, and it is great to have him indeed. Now, the guys are just out in practice at the moment, but it's Jake Robertson that is currently top of the times. Just over a 10th faster than Josh Rayfield, and Brian Crowles literally said, "How on earth have I done that?" when he crossed the line earlier to take second place in the standings just before Josh went out and beat his time. Luke Austin has been showing he's got very good pace in the independents as well. Took an independent race win, or a class win, on his debut at Donington Park a few weeks ago. So hopefully more of the same. Be good to see what Luke can do, to be fair, this time round. Seems like we've got a very poor bit rate at the moment, so I do apologise for that. I did turn on dynamic bit rate the other day, and it seems like that's not really doing a great job. We will have to try and bump it up, but it doesn't seem to let me at the minute. So we may have a bit of a jumpy broadcast, I'm afraid. It's part of technology. Jack Werrell back with us this evening as well. Number 65 Dodge MOT car. There is Maciej Sakovic in the number 88 independent machine, the Arena International car. Now, Luke Austin did tell me about some of those internet issues before he joined the session this evening, so hopefully he doesn't continue to have those problems, and hopefully it doesn't affect anyone else. Andy Fox was a man that got plenty of positive attention last week at Snetterton. He got his first podium of the season after a very trying season 2 for him. He's finally back with us in fighting fashion. Go on board with the Might Just Fit machine. You can hear the tyres screaming for mercy, as they often do. And then the nice peace and quiet as you go down the not so straight here at Brands Hatch. And across the line he goes. Paddock Hill Bend is always scary no matter what you're in. You can hear the tyres actually it floats through the corner. And there you go. Screams its way around Druids. Back down the hill towards Graham Hill Bend. Through he goes to continue on his lap. 7th at the moment in car 7. Don't forget, the top 10 in qualifying get reversed. And then we have the race result from race 1 is the starting order for race 2. This is Niall Crowther, who currently sits in 18th in the standings on 8 points. But he's been just chipping away and getting those odd points here and there to just keep him fighting, which is good. He turns up each week as well, does Niall, bless him. He keeps the fight alive. Michael Blake's been going well this season as well. He's 5th in the championship. He wanted a top 5 finish to reflect his 5th place finish in season 1. And he's shown some great consistency so far. Not doing too well in practice at the moment, but when you see those times on the left, he's only 0.3 of a second off Jake Robertson, and he's down in 11th position. It's just insanely close. If you look at Calvin Dent and Andy Fox, they're only 0.02 of a second apart, which again is just bonkers. Jack Werrell and Michael Ellett are 24 thousandths, 23 thousandths between Werrell and Blake. The margins we're dealing with here are minuscule, very minuscule indeed. Now, yeah, I will mention again the bit rate that we have. So I've changed it due to some connection issues recently and frame rate issues. I've set a dynamic bit rate on the streaming software that I use, so it will go up and down. The stream quality will differ, but you should get a solid 60 frames at all times, so hopefully it still looks alright. If it does dip though, it does come back. It just takes a little bit of time, I'm afraid. So fingers crossed it continues to look alright over the course of the evening. But Jake Robertson, he's got a lot to do tonight, but he's proving a point so far in the Bordeaux machine. He could be the first driver to equal Dennis Melchert's record of 5 race victories in the British Boring Car Championship. Dennis, of course, last season's champion, the only driver to have taken... Actually, no, that's a lie. I was going to say the only driver to have taken 3 wins on the bounce, but Matt Draycott did that earlier on this season. 2 here at Brands Hatch, followed by 1 at the circuit that I can't remember that followed. Sorry, he did 1 in the feature race at Silverstone, which was his first win. And then he got 2 after that as Jake Robertson goes back to his rallycross roots into the gravel. Here's Michael Ellett, who I had the pleasure of racing with in the Sunday Drivers MX5 League last Sunday. That's where Michael and I know each other from. I've commentated on that championship all year and took part in the final race, which I won, but not after having to work very hard against Michael and his teammate Dan Mould from Simulation Racing Leagues. The two of them fantastic to race against, loads of fun. Hello everybody in the chat, Ian Fox, Michael Jones, Jay Rayfield, Carl Jackalette as well, and Mr. Dave Waldock himself, last season's 2nd place finisher. Good to see you, mate. I hope you're well. And we hope to see you at the Christmas party as well, Dave. It'd be good to have you there, mate. And for anyone wondering, the Christmas party is the British Boring Car Championship Christmas Beach Party, which will be taking place on the 28th of December on Sim Racers World TV. We have a road race around the short Daytona infield. Then we have an oval race. These are all in the Jettas that they're racing in now. We have an oval race around Daytona. And then we also have a dirt oval race at USA International. And then a rallycross race meeting to finish it all off. And like I say, all broadcast on Sim Racers World TV. Thank you very much to Ian Roots of Sim Racers World for having us on for that. It's going to be absolutely fantastic. Whoa, Michael Jones, fantastic slide. What a save. The beauty of front-wheel drive pays up as he floors it and gets going. He's got Steve Burke behind him. Newest race winner in the British Boring Car Championship is Steve Burke. After winning the 2nd race at Snetterton last week, he was over the moon with it. He told me, in other words, that he was going to do a good job. And he certainly did that. Just behind him is Niall Crowther. Be good to see Niall get some points on the board tonight. This is definitely a circuit that can throw up very unexpected results for the championship. We saw it last season. Matt Draycott got... Oh, as Michael Jones has clipped the wall. Matt Draycott got involved in an incident with Derek Robb on this circuit last season. On lap 1, I believe, and then it just let Matt sort of dawdle around at the back. As he called it, it just became a track day at that point. And then he had to just try and find his way around from there. This is Derek Robb, though. We'll go on board with Derek, or Del, as he's lovingly known, as he goes down the main straight here into Paddock Hill Bend. It's a very strange corner. It's a very late apex, and it's a blind apex as well, all the way down the hill. Big compression as you go over the curbs. onto the brakes. You go up the hill into Druids. Now, Druids again, you can take a very early apex, hug the inside, but you just need to make sure you let the car go wide enough on the exit. Otherwise, you tend to waste your own time a little bit and lose momentum on the exit. I actually just want to go on board with Calvin Dent. And yes, I have changed his car to be red on the inside. That's good. Yeah, I noticed that despite Calvin's car being mainly red this season, the interior had started to show up blue. And I couldn't really see a reason why. But it's all good and sorted. Liam Silkstone is in the session with us as well, so we have 16 drivers tonight. Only 4 drivers not with us, those being Louis Hanker. We do hope to see Louis back on the scene very soon. We hope you're well, mate. Tom Jacobs, with his continued internet trouble, unfortunately keeping him out. The practice session is over, by the way. There is the flagman getting very excited. And now suddenly, oh, I've had my moment. The guys will now all leave the pit lane very quickly. Here they go. But yes, Louis Hanker, Tom Jacobs, unfortunately out again this evening. Also, no Dan McCauley. And I believe... Who was the other driver that we've not got racing tonight? Whoever it is going to hate me now for forgetting them. But when you've got to try and keep 20 of these lot in order, it's not the easiest, in all honesty. It looks like... I can't really figure it out. Oh, Carl Jacqueline, apologies. He's in the YouTube chat and everything. That's what made me think of it. I'm sorry, Carl. I am really sorry, mate. Carl's been unwell, though, and we hope him a very, very quick recovery. Be good to see you back out there. Carl's had a fantastic season so far. Even if he drops down the order from not racing for a couple of weeks, I think everybody will agree that Carl has had a mega season in comparison to his first season. He got 8 points in Season 1, and in this season he's taken a podium and a race win. He's done an amazing job. Now this is Liam Silkstone. As you can see as well, it's getting dark here at Brands Hatch. As whoa! Sideways goes Liam Silkstone. Yeah, it isn't the brightest of conditions here. If we go on board with Liam and just have a look at the sky when we come back down the straight, Liam doesn't seem to have the driver suit on for some reason. It's just a completely solid black driver suit. But yeah, there's quite a lot of cloud at the far end of the circuit. The sun won't set until the very end. Brian Crowles, if we go on board with him, that's the suit that Liam's meant to have on. The wonderful grey, blue and white Volvo-esque one. Brian Crowles in his very American helmet. Love that. The Belgian's been a lot of fun to watch this season. So these are the times then. Brian is actually fastest at the moment at 51.778, 8 thousandths of a second ahead of Michael Ellett in the Team Netcode car. South African doing well to get up there. Draycott third. Rob goes fifth. Werrell sixth. Silkstone seventh at the moment. Burke and Jones 4 seconds off the pace, but I think they were out laps. Sometimes it counts these guys out laps. As Majek launches it down Paddock Hill. Brings some of the dirt and dust onto the circuit in the Arena International liveried machine. Luke Austin goes fifth. Good stuff from Luke, who's about to finish a lap. Brian Crowles is about to finish a lap. Nobody ahead of him, so we've got this absolute train of cars. He's got Draycott, Burke and Blake all behind him. Let's see who can improve. Burke goes fastest. Steve Burke 10 thousandths ahead of Brian Crowles. Michael Blake goes third. And now Jake Robertson, there you go, 51.494. Over a quarter of a second faster than everybody else at the moment. Amazing stuff by Jake. Only 15 years old. Oh, contact with Derek Robb at Druids after it all checks up a bit. That's not what either of them want. Derek, oh, gets the car stopped to go back to the pits and has a slide as it catches the grass. Just coming down the hill there is Liam Silkstone with Michael Jones and Jack Werrell just behind him. Jack, son of Mark Werrell, very popular commentator, especially on the American Speed Fest that happens here on the Brands Hatch Indy circuit with the Euro NASCAR machinery. Brian Crowles actually is one of the mechanics for Brax Racing in that series. And he was racing Mark Werrell last night in the Vertex Stock Car Cup, which I was covering. Michael Blake's third at the moment. He's doing very well. Brian Crowles, though, second. He'll be pleased with that. He's got some proper pace around here, it seems. Maybe driving a NASCAR has made him realise what a good handling car feels like. Matt Draycott has a moment there with Steve Burke. It's a bit of a strange one there. Let's have a look back at that. You can always tell which car is Steve because of the bright green shiny visor. So Matt goes over to the right. Oh, the car gets out of shape and they sort of touch but don't. And unluckily for Steve, he's now had to go back to the pits and come out again. So who's finishing a lap? Calvin Dent is finishing a lap. Here he is. Oh, he's ending his lap. Niall Crowther crosses the line. Does he improve? Half a second off at the moment. Jake Robertson tries to improve and doesn't. Andy Fox is one that needs to improve. He's got no slipstream at the moment, though. Makes a big difference down this straight. That's Brian Crowell's way off the circuit. Andy Fox up to 12th. So stays 12th. 52.173 for him. He's always said this season that he's got the practice pace, but just not the qualifying pace to go with it. Maciej Sakovic is doing all right, considering he only had about 2 laps practice. He's up in 7th. But look at some of that, though. Crowther only 2 thousandths ahead of Derek Robb. Andy Fox and Jack Werrell have actually done identical lap times. So I think to the 10,000th of a second, Foxy must have just pipped him. There's 1,000th of a second between Matt Draycott and a championship point in the form of Michael Blake. And then only 22 thousandths of a second back is Steve Burke. It's absolutely incredible. This is why we love Brands Hatch Indy. It's a short circuit, a shorter lap, and it's very difficult to find time here. Rayfield having a nightmare at the... Oh, there you go. Not having a nightmare anymore. Car 6 goes up to P6 at 51.860. It's Josh's home circuit, so he wants to go well here. Very frustrated after last week's accident at Snetterton that took him out of 2nd place. Josh wants to come back from that fighting. I hope the stream looks alright, by the way, everybody. Please do let me know. I understand that sometimes it does get a little bit grainy, but I'm trying to do the best that I can with this dynamic bitrate because unfortunately now we've started a stream, I can't change the bitrate. So I can't turn it off and on again because we will lose the stream and it'll start a new one. Brian Crowell is really impressing me at the moment. Very, very pleased with Brian. He's on his way to 2 championship points. He's currently in 15th place on the in the championship with 16 points. Alton Park was his debut, so he's not been in all season. He replaced Rob Lundgren after Brands Hatch last time on the Grand Prix circuit. Can he go any quicker? He's on an outlap actually. So too is Jake Robertson just behind. Let's go on board and see how it's done. So you can see a bit of oversteer. The car just floats into Paddock Hill Bend. Plenty of lock to make sure that it tucks in at the bottom. Now you'll notice the very strange shadows that we have here at Brands Hatch. I'm not quite sure why it does it. But iRacing as well, actually. I was just about to slate iRacing for their shadows, but I don't really have much to slate them for because they've just announced 4 new circuits. Of course, we all knew that Hockenheim was coming to the iRacing service. However, they have just announced the Red Bull Ring in Austria, known as the A1 Ring, very lovingly. The Hungara Ring, which is one of my favourite circuits in the world, and all of the Scottish have gone absolutely mad because they've announced Knock Hill coming to iRacing in 2021, which of course will add another venue for the British Boring Car Championship. So we're closer and closer to a full British Touring Car Championship calendar with Knock Hill on the menu. Jake Robertson can't seem to improve at the minute. Silkstone improves his time. He stays 15th. Michael Jones is a couple more tenths off him at the moment at 52.55, but a second covering all 16 cars at the moment is absolutely bonkers. Matt Draycott will be thinking, what if though? He's sat in the pits at the moment, not sure he's doing any more laps. Okay, hopefully we're back, everybody. Really sorry about that, not quite sure what caused that there. There we go. We have returned and we've kept the stream. We've actually kept the stream. It's an absolute miracle. Can you believe it? So, it looks like the dynamic bitrate isn't fixing the issues, does it? We're having random disconnects here. How lovely is the internet? The problem is, I'm going to be honest here, you know, we switched from Vodafone to TalkTalk to sort these issues out. I don't actually think it's the internet overall at this point. Last time we did have internet drops completely with YouTube, so nothing would work at all. With Vodafone, I should say. So, you know, YouTube wouldn't refresh, nothing. But when the stream just dropped out then, it was just the upload that was gone. You know, there was nothing at all that was wrong with the internet. Pages refreshed, I was still connected to Discord, everything else. Not a clue what causes that. So, yeah, real pain in the backside, I'm afraid. I'll have to try and figure out that. But it's good to know that if I stop the stream very quickly and get back on it, then we can continue on the same link, which is nice. Not sure whether it's generated a new video on Facebook or not. It seems to have done on Twitch. But no, it looks good actually. It looks good that we're still on. Yeah, we're still on Facebook, which is nice. So there we go. Maybe a restream issue. You never know. So Jake Robertson currently fastest and flying as well. Josh Rayfield currently sat in 6th place just behind Steve Burke. Matt Draycott still 1,000th off Michael Blake. They're looking good for some championship points. Luke Austin is 7th, Elliott 8th, Fox 9th. Now importantly, Maciej Sakovic is 10th at the moment. And we've had some bad news as well actually. I'm afraid that Calvin Dent will not be racing for the remainder of the evening. He's 11th at the moment, but he's had some issues with VR running properly, and it's making him feel motion sick. Because as you all know, if you don't get a decent VR experience, it can mess with your head. So, more bad news for Calvin Dent. He's had 2 poor race meetings before this, where he didn't score many points, and now it looks like his championship overall hopes anyway are dwindling. He's still in with a shout of the Independence Championship ahead of this man, Maciej Sakovic, who is on less than half of the points at the moment, but he's also had his own commitments elsewhere. Andy Fox is inside the top 10, so he's going to start 2nd on the grid for the sprint race, which will be very good for Andy. Be happy to see him up there. He really does need the points. Jack Werrell's down in 15th now, just behind Liam Silkstone. And I say just behind. 0.004 of a second behind Liam Silkstone. Michael Jones is within a second of Jake Robertson now. So he's done a 52.49. As you can see, that the sun is definitely setting here. It's getting nice and bronze. We're getting some beautiful lighting effects. So, for anyone that hasn't seen the format before, we have a 15-minute sprint race and a 30-minute feature race with a mandatory pit stop where the tyres must be taken. 2 tyres minimum. So even if the drivers just choose to take one side, so be it. If they want the car to handle strangely. Michael Elliott is apparently not about. It's a very strange one. But we only have 10 seconds of the session left to go, and it looks like this man, Jake Robertson, is going to take another pole position this season. And he's not bothered about finishing that lap at all. Michael Jones still out on track, using the Astro, and just as the horrible nature is with the with the heat racing format that we use, it's completely killed the session straight away. Now then, let's see who's got the guts to win this then. We'll go through the grid very, very quickly because most of them are on it already. But it's Maciej Sakovic on pole from Andy Fox. Then it's Michael Elliott, Luke Austin, Josh Rayfield and Steve Burke, Matt Draycott, Michael Blake on row 4, with Brian Crowles and Jake Robertson on row 5. Brian Crowles, fantastic qualifying that. Calvin Dent will not be lining up. Then we've got Niall Crowther, Derek Robb, Liam Silkstone and Jack Werrell and Michael Jones. And round 13 of the British Boring Car Championship, thank you very much German spotter, is underway. And Andy Fox looks like he's had a bad start. Michael Elliott's gone down the inside of him. Luke Austin is blinking in and out a little bit there. They need to be very careful about that. There's contact between Elliott and Fox. Luke Austin's trying to go through behind him. You've then got Josh Rayfield. Liam Silkstone's gained 2 places. Luke Austin's gone in deep. Oh, there's a bit of argy-bargy in front. Oh, Foxy sideways across the front of Rayfield. There's contact with Jake Robertson as well. How are they going to sort this out? Matt Draycott's down the inside of the pair of them. Jake Robertson's into Andy Fox. Oh, there's so many 4Xs going on. That's Robertson sideways. Oh, Werrell and Jones are off the circuit at the back. Oh, it's kicked off royally here, boys. That's Niall Crowther coming back on. Further up, though, look at this. Foxy and Rayfield right together. Andy won't be pleased about that. We'll have to have a look back in a lap or so's time, because look at this. You've then got Jake Robertson down the inside of both the Ericsson Hittles cars right together. Luke Austin's up to third place through all of this. Absolute mayhem start to the race. But Maciej Sakovic leads away from Michael Ellett. Then Steve Burke is actually in third. I think he's just overtaken Luke down the straight. Must have done. Now, let's see what happened at the top of the hill. So we'll go on, well, not that view, obviously. So this is Andy Fox. Bit of contact with Michael Ellett. Now Josh Rayfield gets in this somehow. Oh, there's just a check-up. Andy goes into the back of Luke Austin. Josh is on his rear corner. And then further back it kicks off between these boys here. So Jones is there. Oh, Jones has come across. And oh, it just takes out Werrell at the bottom of the hill. What happened there? So down the hill they go. He comes across a bit to the right of Jack Werrell. And then the car comes back on again. And then he's trying to get it turned left, but it's just straight lined into Jack, unfortunately, at the bottom of the hill. And now a lot of these guys have got 4X. Oh no, Brian Crowles. Surely not. Surely not a drive-through already for Brian Crowles after that fantastic qualifying all the way down the order. This is Derek Robb on Niall Crowther. They've got Jack Werrell just in front, Niall down the inside. But Steve Burke's one to watch here. He wants to go fighting for the championship. And he's fourth at the moment. Could very well get into third in the overall standings after this race meeting. Matt Draycott's in a bit of clear air behind Luke Austin. Josh Rayfield needs to watch his back because Andy Fox and Jake Robertson chasing him down. I think that is the fastest drive-through of the season, Ian, yeah. But look at the side of Josh Rayfield's car. A lot of damage as he chucks it over the curb. Never short of commitment is Josh Rayfield. Andy Fox getting very feisty behind him. Josh defends on the brakes. Andy tries to go around the outside. It's not going to work there, mate. Michael Blake in the wings as well behind Jake Robertson. Hopefully no more incidents. We've had Liam Silkstone go off the track for a moment. He's in 10th place though, so he's on his way to championship points. Look at the cars just wobbling around. Luke is having a lot of blinking in and out here. I'm not sure it's sustainable like that, I'm afraid. Draycott is probably just trying to put up with it at the moment. But this is the main battle here because Josh Rayfield, after a humongous amount of tyre smoke from the front right round Druids, could be getting a lifeline here in the form of Jake Robertson, who's attacking Andy Fox. Niall Crowther has just gone past Jack Werrell a bit further down. We've got Luke Austin off the circuit. Contact with Jake Robertson. That's huge for the championship. If it gives him a drive-through, what happened to Luke? So Luke's pulled over out of the way. He tries to stop and then loses it. Oh, and then just clips Jake. Jake goes sideways. Now, Jake's gone through, so it's clearly not giving him a drive-through penalty, but it has dropped him off the back of Andy Fox. He's now got Michael Blake and Liam Silkstone behind. That means car 10, P10. Niall Crowther's in the points. Werrell and Robb still battling together again. Oh, that was close. Very close to an accident there from Derek Robb. He had a fantastic race meeting at Snetterton. Fortunes seem to have changed a little bit for him here. He's fighting with Jack for 11th position, just outside of the points. It's close at the front though. Maciej Sakovic is not really breaking away from Michael Ellett here, and neither is he from Steve Burke. We'll look back from Maciej's car. Beautiful sky behind them as we go down the main straight and into Paddock Hill Bend. Now Matt Draycott is in the background of that shot as well. He's been unleashed now. Luke Austin isn't there, but look at Steve Burke. I'll go on the nose camera of Steve Burke's car at that Team Netcode machine. You can see how beautifully I've placed that Netcode logo on the back, so it definitely doesn't go over the edge of the bumper. But these guys are getting close to this. Michael Elliott's looking for his first win in the championship. I'm not sure that Michael Elliott's even had a podium, has he? He hasn't. Michael Elliott has not finished on the podium in the British Touring Car Championship yet. So he's going to want that. Still very, very close though. Steve is just, he's waiting for an opening here. He doesn't want to force the issue too much. We're not even halfway through the race yet, but he knows that Draycott's going to be knocking on the door before long. He has a look down the inside. He's just trying to get into Michael's head here, but these top three are very much glued together now. Trying to avoid contact down the hill. I think maybe the driver's told Luke Austin that it is a bit much and he needs to pull over. It's very hard to race against people when their connection is doing that. I think he mentioned that he had Wi-Fi issues recently. I think he might have been trying to do it on 4G, which, fair play to Luke for at least giving it a go. I just don't think it's sustainable, I'm afraid. Look at the reflections on the cars there as they come towards us, the bright orange marks on the circuit. Maciej Sakovic is doing a great job at leading this race though. He doesn't seem to feel the need to defend yet though, that's the thing, he's not really defending that hard from Michael Elliott. I think they've just sort of got this gentleman's agreement that they're all going to try and work together. Last time we were here at Brands Hatch Indy, it was Dennis Melcher leading from Tom Jacobs and actually that Nodaphone car, but with Fraser Smith at the wheel. As it was number 67 I think back then. As Michael Elliott, oh he looked down the inside of Maciej Sakovic there. Just coming into clearways. It's Clark Curve, isn't it? As he come out of there. Steve Burke now right on the back of Michael. Doesn't want to make contact. Looks to the inside. Michael looks to the inside of Maciej. Don't do three wide, boys. Is Michael going to go for the lead? He's got the overlap. He's down the inside of Maciej. Oh, he hits the curb. Oh, there's a hit there from Steve as he slows up. Maciej goes across to defend. Matt Draycott's on the outside. Oh, and Elliott's gone too deep. Hits the side of Maciej. Steve gives him a tap as well. You need to be careful about incident points here. Maciej still somehow in front. Draycott at the back of this, probably with the best view in the house, or it's not much of a view. It's just the back of Steve Burke's car. Jay Rayfield says in the chat this is going to kick off. I totally agree, mate. I totally agree. But look at Elliott hounding Sakovic. Now, if Draycott starts attacking Burke, or Burke feels the need to defend, then he's going to lose ground. And look at Josh Rayfield in on this as well now. He's only 0.6 of a second away from Draycott. These two want championship points over Jake Robertson, who is still down in 7th position. Liam Silkstone has gained the most places in the race. He's gained 6 up into 8th place. Great drive from Liam so far. Yeah, Ian Fox says drive-through coming up, but who for? They only get 15 incident points before they have to serve a drive-through penalty. And you get 4 incident points for contact with another car, so they only get 3 and then a couple of incident points. For off-tracks, things like that, you get 1 if you run off-track or disobey track limits. Now Rayfield looked very close to the back of Draycott there. These two need to try and work together to go forward, but both of them in slightly battered machinery. We're going to hit the 10-minute mark on this upcoming lap. Oh, Jack Werrell's actually gone off circuit and that's ended his race. Let's have a look. He says the pedals disconnected and froze the wheel. Only Fanatec. Oh, heck. Oh, that's a big hit. That's a real shame for Jack. Nothing doing there, I'm afraid. Sorry to see it, buddy. Hopefully you get that sorted for the second race. Great drive by Maciej Sakovic at the moment. We've only ever had one independent race winner in the British Boring Car Championship, and just like history saw it, it was the Matt Neal liveried car at Donington Park Grand Prix circuit. Actually, no, the National Circuit, apologies. It was Calvin Dent that did that. And it was a feature race as well. Look at the cars just sideways into there. Now, Michael Elliott was a bit too sideways through there, I think. Steve Burke's going to line him up for an attack. He looks down the inside. He just needs to be a bit later on the brakes. He's brakes about the same time, but goes down the inside, gets the job done. Now, what can Draycott do on Michael Elliott? Can he make a move now, or is Elliott going to come back at Burke? He goes down the inside. Burke carries the speed, though, and that's going to hold up Draycott and Rayfield. So Burke is now going to be unleashed a little bit to go after Sakovic. We've only got 4 minutes of this race left to go. Is Steve Burke able to take his second race win in the British Boring Car Championship? He took his first last time out at Snetterton. He won round 12. Can he make it 2 in a row and become the 3rd driver ever to get consecutive race wins? And just like Matt Draycott, do it consecutively with his debut victory. He's looking down the inside from a while back already. Matt Draycott might just play this safely, though, for championship points. Same with Josh Rayfield. The two of them trying to win the team's championship for Team Red Ring. So don't really want to risk anything at this point. It's very close between them. It's close further back as well. Liam Silkstone on the back of Jake Robertson. I think that Jake is suffering with the damage from the contact with Luke. So that's played it into the hands of Draycott, who will open up his championship advantage here if it finishes like this. 3 minutes to go then. That's 3 laps that we can do. Oh, Rayfield's down the inside of his teammate there. As they come onto the straight again, the damage is definitely affecting Matt. It's definitely affecting Josh as well. Apparently, we've got white flag in the air this time round. That's an interesting one. It's a very interesting one. Although it's, yeah, sorry, it's either 15 laps or 15 minutes, and I think, let me just give us the laps. Yeah, this is lap 15 of the race, so this is going to be Steve Burke's last chance. How very silly of me. Oh, that means that the feature race is going to be shortened hugely as all the lights come on in unison. The feature race is only going to be about 24 minutes, if that's the case, because it's set to 25, actually 30 laps or 30 minutes. But Maciej Sakovic becomes the second independent to take a race win in the British Boring Car Championship. Crosses the line, beautiful stuff. Well played, Maciej. Michael Elliott third, his first podium ahead of Draycott and Rayfield. Andy Fox and then Jake Robertson finishes 7th. Liam Silkstone 8th. Michael Blake is 9th. Niall Crowther is 10th. And Derek Robb is 11th. Now, in the 10 minutes between this, it looks like Chaz has got some work to do. So I think we're going to try and set up another session now. So if you would all please forgive me for a minute. We're just going to go back to the thumbnail, I'm afraid. And there's going to be a bit of silence for a bit. I'll be back with you very, very shortly. Okay, so thank you for your patience there, everybody. I've had a quick chat with the drivers just to see what they wanted to do, because it would shorten the race dramatically if we had it set to 30 laps or 30 minutes. And they're happy to run 30 laps. So the pit window will still open at 10 minutes, but it will not close, basically. It's down to the drivers to make sure they don't leave it too late in the race. Luke Austin is out there on circuit. He's asking whether he's still blinking. He's trying to sort some network issues out, and it's... Oh, I was just about to say it was going fine. But if I very quickly bring you the results from the first race. So, Maciej Sakovic becomes the second independent in the British Boring Car Championship to take a race win. What a way to return to the series, eh? That's fantastic. Steve Burke finishes second, with Michael Elliott getting his first podium of the season. Matt Draycott and Josh Rayfield, more big points for Team Red Ring. Then it's Andy Fox in sixth, ahead of Jake Robertson, who will want a good result in this feature. Liam Silkstone, 8th, ahead of Michael Blake in 9th. Niall Crowther gets another point for 10th, with Derek Robb 11th. Brian Crowell's unfortunately finishing down in 12th after that great qualifying. Then it's Michael Jones 13th. Jack Werrell, after that incident, 7 laps down in 14th. And Luke Austin in 15th position. Calvin Dent, of course, did not take to the starts. So the guys are back out doing some practice now, just getting some more laps in. And I suppose, if he is available, yes, we'll try and have a word with him. Maciej, if you're there, mate, you must be very pleased to just become the second independent race winner in the British Boring Car Championship. I don't think he's there. Sorry, everyone. Oh well, we tried. You don't ask, you don't get. But someone actually that had a hard job on in that race, actually, that I do want to speak to, is Steve Burke. Now, Steve, you had to work very hard for that, chasing down Maciej. Did you think that if the race did go to full length, you'd probably get him? I also don't think Steve's there either, I'm afraid. Brilliant. I'm going to stop these sort of impromptu interviews for these drivers and make sure that they're planned beforehand. So we'll make sure that we drag them in for a chat only when they're ready. It's going very well, Ian. It's going very well indeed, mate. You know, it's one of my streams. It's never the most straightforward thing, is it? Never the most straightforward of things in the British Boring Car Championship. So they're just out in warm-up now then, just trying to get these laps in. Liam Silkstone fastest at the moment with a lap time of 52.145. Diego Gugliari saying, "Go Michael Jones, go." Clearly a big fan. There he is in the DC book machine. It's still better than watching Sky Sports. Well, thank you, Ian, I'm glad. I do apologise for the bit rate up and down though, boys, but I honestly just can't risk losing so many frames all the time. You can just see how inconsistent the internet is here, though. And annoyingly, on the TalkTalk router, there's no way of actually setting the QoS, so I can't prioritise bandwidth to this device. Michael there doing a nice drift for the fan base that he has in chat. Steve Burke back out on track now. So we've got just under, well, just over 4 minutes left of this session. Don't forget that the race 2 grid is going to be the race 1 result. So we're going to have Maciej Sakovic on pole, Steve Burke on the second row, on the front row with him. Second row will be Michael Elliott and Matt Draycott, and then Josh Rayfield in 5th. Jake Robertson will be in 7th, but that time is going to be plenty for him to try and work back up the order. It's going to take a bit longer than that for me to be a good league admin and a better broadcaster. Diego says he's fan number 2. First one is Pete. There's only one Jonesy. And there he is. Go through Graham Hill Bend. It's nice to get these cars sort of under lights as well. It's going to be going a little bit darker here. Not as dark as it was at Snetterton, but still darker all the same. The sun will have fully set about 20 minutes into the race, so just near the end. Luke Austin's back out there. Is he still blinking away? We'll have to see. Keep our eye on him. Jake Robertson goes fastest in the session, naturally. Luke's connection seems to have got better, which is good. This is Josh Rayfield. Just on his first lap of the session with just a couple of minutes to go. It's a nerve-wracking time for these drivers because obviously they want to get out there and get laps in, but they also want to get into the zone and just try and calm down a little bit after what is usually a frantic first race because of how much shorter it is. Thank you everybody for watching the stream so far, by the way. I've noticed considerably better viewer numbers today, which is nice. Always great to have everybody on board. If we could get a few more likes on the video, that would be mucho appreciated. Ben Lambert in there as well. Good to see you, mate. Hope you're well. So, who are we predicting for race 2 then, everybody? There's a lot of grass here, he says. Love it. Absolutely love it. Hello those that are watching on Facebook as well. Jake Batchelor says, good luck Josh Rayfield, do it for the old race hub boys. Love it. You reckon Jones is going to take the race win by some miracle? More of the drivers have actually got back out on track, you know. Ben Lambert says up the Rayfield. He reckons that Josh will do well. I don't know whether that's him saying that Josh will do well or whether he's just agreeing with Josh's mate. But we have just 2 seconds of the session to go then, and they're going to disappear. 3, 2, 1, and boop. Oh, no, hang on, ready, bang, gone, now, go, poof, there you go, got it right. So, the grid for race 2 then will be right with you now, and the drivers will line up getting very, I would say, nervous for this second race. So Magic Sakovic on pole position then, alongside Steve Burke with Michael Elliott and Matt Draycott on row 2. Then it's Josh Rayfield and Andy Fox. Jake Robertson will be looking to come through from 7th ahead of Liam Silkstone in 8th. Great drive from him in the first race. Then it's Michael Blake and Niall Crowther. Then Derek Robb and Brian Crowles. We then have Michael Jones and Jack Werrell. And Luke Austin and Calvin Dent, unfortunately, will not be taking the start in this one either. So, Van Lambert says, I'm hoping the better Draycott wins. Matt has 4 wins to his name this season. And in his career in the British Boring Car Championship. But round 14 of Season 2 is about to get underway. Looks like, oh, I think Brian Crowles has just jumped the start in the background. Not sure if he's just got out of the way, but look at Steve Burke's start around the outside of Magic Sakovic. Honestly, who do you have to kill around here to get some good internet? Who do you have to kill to get some good internet? Michael Jones has just had an issue. Steve Burke still leads the race. You've got contact there between Josh Rayfield and Andy Fox. Liam Silkstone is just trying to get through as well. I'll show you the start again, everybody, just so you can get another view on this. I'm really sorry for that. Honestly, these disconnects are going to be the death of me. It's going to lose me so much money in it. So this is the start. Steve Burke gets an absolute blinder. Gets a really nice launch and goes all the way around the outside of Maciej Sakovic. Josh Rayfield got a bit of a poor getaway. He lost places to Andy Fox and Jake Robertson. Steve gets it done as they go up the hill into Druids. Has a fantastic run around the outside. Bit of contact between Elliott and some of the boys a bit further back. Nothing too bad. And then it all worked itself out. Michael Jones, though, unfortunately, went off the circuit. He went across the grass in race 1 and hit Jack Werrell. He's actually, looks like he's had another incident with Jack Werrell here. Oh, he just runs Jack out of room there, I'm afraid. Gets turned around and off he goes. But back to live pictures then. And it's Steve Burke leading the way. Maciej Sakovic is now behind Matt Draycott. Matt Draycott's taken second place there. And now Michael Elliott wants to come through as well. Sounds like a bit of contact further back. Elliott trying to get down the inside. He wants 2 podiums out of 2. These guys need to chill out because this is a feature race. It's a long, long race. I'm so sorry about the disconnects, guys. Honestly, I have no answer for it now. I genuinely have no answer for it. I'm fed up of it. As Robertson down the inside of Elliott into Sakovic. Sakovic gets punted out wide. Now you've got to think as Jake picked up more damage from that. Michael Elliott's dropping places. They come back on. Both of the Might Just Fit cars trying to go through. That's Andy Fox and Michael Blake. Liam Silkstone's gained 3 places. So too is Michael Blake at this point. As they all run wide through Graham Hill Bend. Sakovic is in there with Luke Austin. He's blinking around a lot again. Jack Werrell in that fight. Real shame for Maciej. Still in the points though. But Steve Burke. He won at Snetterton last week. Now he's out to do it again. But Matt Draycott, he was in second when Steve won at Snetterton. And he's in second again now. Jake Robertson's in there. Niall Crowther's just got past Michael Elliott. That was a sideways Luke Austin in the background. Oh, and Andy Fox has had a bit of a moment, it seems. He's having to defend the inside now from Niall. Those two were teammates last season. Elliott jumps across the middle of the circuit. Werrell into the back of Sakovic. Jack blinked in and out a little bit there. Look at this train behind Niall Crowther. Now he's ahead of Foxy. Andy won't be pleased about that. Niall will be. Niall will be beaming. Oh, more contact. That was Elliott, I think, into the back of Andy Fox. Now the pit window opens at 10 minutes. So these guys just have to hold it out until then. Closest 2 cars on track are actually our race leaders now. Steve Burke just ahead of Draycott. This is the view back at Matt's car. What can Steve do to defend this? He's got a long time to do it as well. He's got a long time to defend. Draycott just clinging on to the back of his car. If we look back from Andy Fox, though, he's not really clinging on to much here. He's got Sakovic, Elliott, and Werrell all trying to have a go while Niall Crowther breaks away in front. So close together, all of them. Down the inside goes Sakovic then on Andy Fox. Oh, Andy clips the gravel. I don't know if he made contact with Sakovic there, but what a save from Andy Fox. The 2x2, 6 of them. Luke Austin gains 2 places out of that. Andy really dropping down now. He's dropping like a stone. A stone that isn't dropping though is Liam Silkstone. I called him Liam Sinkstone the first time I commentated on him because he really dropped down the order drastically in one race, but doing a great job here. Looking back at this, Luke Austin and Derek Robb side by side. Derek just trying to hold him off. Does so for now. Then Andy Fox is in there as well. Nice little switchback from Luke Austin. Not sure whether that'll work, but he's going to have the inside line towards Paddock Hill Bend. Is he going to get it done on the brakes? Needs to be careful not to hit the curb. Derek doesn't give him all the room in the world. That was very close indeed. Now Liam Silkstone has gained on Josh Rayfield here, and just ahead, you can see it for yourselves, Jake Robertson is on the back of Matt Draycott and Steve Burke, so with a good pit stop, he could still win this race, you know, Jake Robertson. We'll have to see. It does look like very tight racing indeed, doesn't it, Pete? I hope you're enjoying the show. I really am sorry about the disconnects. But now Matt Draycott all over the back of Steve Burke, and this is what Jake Robertson wants. He wants these two guys to start fighting. With Calvin Dent out of the picture for this race, these are his two main championship rivals. Matt, of course, leading the championship, opened his gap up in race 1. Jake wants to close it back up again. Oh, a little bit of a blink in and out there for Jake. That's an interesting one. We saw one before from him. Hopefully that doesn't continue. We then got another trio behind them. Josh Rayfield, Liam Silkstone and Michael Blake. Michael's been very consistent recently, plenty of good results. He's looking for another one here. But it is still, although the two closest cars are actually the ones just in front, Josh Rayfield and Liam Silkstone. There's Michael Jones apparently off the circuit, runs wide at Graham Hill Bend. Now what can Steve do about Draycott, and what can Draycott do about Burke? He's looking down the inside, he's going to commit to the inside as well, tries to go later on the brakes. Steve carries a lot of speed through there, the car goes sideways and he holds the position. This is Draycott's time to attack now, he goes late on the brakes, Steve comes across, a little bit of contact, bit of a tap on the way in. Not sure if that was late defending by Steve or a bit of over-ambitiousness by Matt. Steve now runs very, very deep into Graham Hill Bend. Matt tries to get the cutback, and it's going to work as well, is it? He's going to be on the inside for the first part. He's going to be inside for the left. Not quite. The overlap goes away. Jake Robertson's there as well, tries to pummel his way down the inside. And now suddenly the other trio is in on this as well. It's the top 6 for the race lead. Who's going to take this one? It's so close between all of them. Matt Draycott looks to the inside of Burke, doesn't do anything this time. He's just trying to put the pressure on. Michael Blake, best seat in the house here. Same with Liam Silkstone. These two have both gained 3 positions. Jack Werrell has gained 5 to get up to 9th. He's having a good run at the moment. He's got his teammate just ahead of him with Sakovic between them, although Niall goes very deep into Druids. Sakovic now ahead of both of them. Oh, Jake's internet blinking in and out a little bit again. Not that I can say anything. But look at this train of cars. The top 6 very, very far away from Maciej Sakovic, 5.7 seconds, and the pit stop window is open in 10 seconds. So who out of these drivers will come in first time round? Because what you'll see is Crowther gets a wonderful little switchback on his teammate, Jack Werrell. Now Derek Robb looking to gain out of this as well. Oh, that's close between Jack and Niall. Oh, a bit of a tap there between Austin and Robb, just behind. Only a tiny tap. Now, as these guys come up to the final corner, place your bets. Who's going to come in first? Who's going to think, I'm not getting held up in traffic, I'm going to try and get away? It's Josh Rayfield and Liam Silkstone both come in. So we need to keep an eye on Josh. See what he can do. Ben's saying Matt's going to blow the turbo if he carries on. Yeah, he's going to be in too much hot air, isn't he? But look at this now, Jake Robertson. Also got Luke Austin and Michael Ellett in the pit lane. Jake Robertson's on the attack, you know. Jake is pushing hard to attack the back of Matt Draycott's car. He looks down the inside, doesn't go for it there. Now bear in mind, we're going to get 30 laps here, so I'll put the lap counter in the top left for you. We're not halfway through yet. But it could very quickly get to that point. Are we going to see? Look at the amount of lock that Jake is putting on. He wants to come in. He's thinking, right, I'm getting held up here. I'm clearly faster. Into the pits goes Jake. Michael Blake also going in with him. Now, where is Josh Rayfield? Josh is there. He's gained a lot of time on Liam Silkstone in the pits. He was 9/10 of a second quicker in his stop as well. Jake Robertson's into his box. Niall Crowther also in. Steve Burke still hanging on ahead of Draycott. Jack Werrell now up into 4th. So there's Jake just leaving the box. There's Josh Rayfield just coming down the straight. When does Jake get back out on circuit? He does now. Does Josh go past? He does. And he goes past Michael Elliott as well. Although Michael Elliott a lap down, but now Josh is ahead of Jake Robertson. Very important indeed. Michael Blake is ahead of Liam Silkstone too. So it looks like staying out that further lap has helped. Steve Burke in the pits. Matt Draycott continues. So Matt's carried on. Sakovic is up into 3rd place now. He's also carrying on. Andy Fox comes in from 6th position. There he is. Now keep an eye. Josh Rayfield, highest placed driver that's pitted so far. I'll bring the pit stops up on the left-hand side. Burke is now on his way out. Where is he in comparison to Josh Rayfield? I think he might just be ahead, or is he? No, he's not. Josh Rayfield goes into the race lead. Phenomenal pace from Josh around here now to get that done. Brilliant stuff. It just shows as well how much Steve in that battle was holding these guys up. Michael Blake goes for a bit of an excursion into the gravel trap. Wow. Now, Steve Burke is going to come under pressure from Jake Robertson. Matt Draycott has entered the pit lane. Over the big bump. Is Magic Sakovic going to carry on through? He is. What about Jack Werrell? He is. Derek Robb goes in. So, Rayfield effectively will lead the race if he gets past his teammate. But if Draycott gets out very quickly here, then it'll be a 1-2 for Team Red Ring. Burke needs to be careful now. As, Draycott's stop is taking a while. Oh no, he seems alright. He seems like he might do this. Or does he? No, he doesn't. He's actually dropped a bit further down. He's behind Robertson, very importantly for the championship. But Josh Rayfield has inherited the lead ahead of these boys. Michael Blake, another excursion into the gravel trap. Maybe pushing a bit hard there. Liam Silkstone now down the inside. Matt Draycott now comes out in 4th position. He's lost that place to Jake. Jake's going to try and claw a few championship points back. Magic Sakovic and Jack Werrell both come into the pit lane now. They're the last 2 to pit, so we can get rid of the pit stops on the left-hand side. But this battle, this top 6 is absolutely awesome. Sorry, top 7 now, isn't it? No, it is top 6. Incredible. We had brilliant racing last time we were here, and we've got it again now at Brands Hatch Indy. Round 14 of the British Boring Car Championship. Not disappointing one bit. You've also got Michael Elliott tagging onto the back of this as well, making it a 7-car train. See how it looks from Michael Blake. It's frustrating to be here from Michael Blake's perspective because you can see it all going on, but just pushing so hard to catch up. Josh has actually lost a bit of time here to Steve Burke. Steve is now within 4/10 of the race leader. Might be able to see, is it say, 30 laps, so it's either 30 minutes or 30 laps. Confirmed. But look how stalemate it is, look at the gap between them all. The biggest gap is actually Steve Burke ahead of Jake Robertson. And Jake, of course, has his championship rival Matt Draycott just behind him. Ben Lambert says it's his favourite track in the Jetters. It's a lot of fun. It's a bit difficult to get it round Paddock Hill Bend without hitting that curb and wobbling it around, but it's workable. Now Steve Burke's done his fastest lap of the race behind Josh Rayfield now. So Josh needs to start checking his mirrors a bit. 12 laps to go. 15 minutes to go. So we are definitely going to get to the laps first. Niall Crowther has just overtaken his teammate Jack Werrell, and Jack's taking him back again. The two of them working hard together. Oh, working too hard together there. A little bit of contact. Andy Fox wants to part the seas. I don't think that's going to work for him there. What can he do? He's just going to sit back and watch, I think. On board with Andy Fox. Big lock up into clearways. Now Clark Curve. Silkstone does his personal best. In 5th position. Nothing doing that time round for Foxy. Now it's very close at the front because Steve Burke is trying to get an overlap on Josh Rayfield. Nearly a bit of contact. There's 4 of them there, nose to tail. This is not done yet, boys. This is not done yet. Liam Silkstone's going to be hoping for a podium here. Just see whether he's managed to get one this season. I don't think he has. No, he's not. So Michael Elliott got his first podium in the championship last time out. There's the move. Steve Burke does get ahead of Josh. We'll have a quick look back at how he did it. I think he just stuck it up the inside, did he? Oh, Josh got an almighty wiggle. Let's have a look. They're still fighting into Paddock Hill Bend. Josh hits the curb. Jake Robertson's there. Don't make contact, boys. Oh, Draycott surely in for a freebie. Oh, there's contact. Jake Robertson into the back of Steve Burke. Helps him round Druids, if anything. Just need to give each other a little bit more room and need to be ready to break. Draycott on the outside. Sounds like there was contact in the background. Niall Crowther's around. What's kicked off there? We do have to go back to this. We'll look back at what happened to Niall in a moment. Jake Robertson side by side with Draycott. Draycott completely sideways up the hill. Through Surtees into clearways. Somehow holds it. He's now down the inside of Jake for this right-hander. He's going to be all the way down the inside, down the main straight. We'll just have a quick look at what happened to Niall Crowther. Oh no, please don't say he made contact with his teammate. Oh, it slowed up. Oh, Andy just caught him. Andy just had a bit of an overspeed. Just caught up with him. Now Draycott has held 3rd place, but look at the defending that these 2 Team Red Ring cars are having to do. Matt Draycott turns the defending into a look down the inside of Steve. Bit of contact, hopefully not a 4X there. Anyone wondering what a 4X is? It's 4 incident points. It says 4 times when you get one. I hope not to see any drive-throughs. I think Andy Fox has just had one a bit further down, I'm afraid. Andy's season has not been easy for him. Steve Burke, we had a fantastic resurgence from him last season in the second half when he just brought this pace out of nowhere to get back on terms with Matt Draycott in the Mediocre Cup for Independence, and he nearly took it away from Matt in the final race meeting, but unfortunately just didn't have enough. But look at this close racing now between Steve Burke and Josh Rayfield. Josh blocking defensively. Matt has to check up. Jake has to check up. Oh, a bit of contact there from Draycott and Robertson again. The 2 championship fighters really scrapping together on track. This is amazing stuff from these 2, especially in the thick of all this battle. Where's Jake gone? Hopefully that's just a connection thing. Yes. Oh, and he reappears in front of Silkstone, getting nerfed there. That was really unfortunate timing. But it means that Draycott could have a bit of breathing room. Not sure if it could be a Red Ring 1 and 2. Oh, I think Silkstone's got a drive-through. No. Oh, that takes Liam out of the picture, unfortunately. But these guys are racing that closely. It is to be expected. Pretty much under lights here at Brands Hatch now. It's pretty much dark, but that's really shot the fox, that, as Charlie Cox would have said. Now Burke actually has a run on Rayfield. 7 laps to go. Look at the pace that Steve carries around the outside. They need to make sure they give each other room on the exit and down the hill. Oh, that's close. Oh, Josh hits the back of him. I could see it coming. We've seen that 1,000,001 times before. Josh does a bit of rally crossing and unfortunately down to 5th. Not sure whether Steve left the room or whether Josh just turned in a little bit too much, but we've seen these cars wheel bang and bounce around a lot. And oh, Josh Rayfield in the pits. That's destroyed his race. That would have been 4 incident points. And that is that. The incident points are being looked at for next season. We do understand that it is harsh. Or I do understand that it is harsh anyway. It is just me that runs this. Now the top 4 cars separated by 1.2 seconds at the moment. Steve Burke, Matt Draycott, Jake Robertson, the top, what will now be the top 3 in the championship. Now Liam Silkstone and Josh Rayfield have actually come out right near each other because they both had drive-through penalties that they've served within a couple of laps of one another. Let's not get another one, boys. But as it gets dark at Brands, not as intended. I wasn't intending it for it to do that. Steve Burke has got this lap and 5 more to go in round 14. Michael Blake sitting pretty in 4th at the moment. He's having a great drive. Liam Silkstone and Josh Rayfield side by side. Liam just down the inside makes it work. Josh tries the cutback though. Is he going to get that to work? That would be great if he does. Derek Robb and Niall Crowther a little bit further back, having a good scrap too. Josh is so careful not to run wide. Look how close they are side by side. Incredible stuff. Still no contact. Oh, it sounded like there's a bit of contact somewhere. Oh, Michael Jones is off. Looks like Michael Jones is out of the race with that. Oh, we've got Josh Rayfield off the circuit. He's dropping time. He's dropping down the order. Just see what happens to Michael. Oh, he's going to run wide and hit the wall. Oh, no, and he's going to go straight into the other one. Oh, Michael's poor race comes to an end. Such a shame. Now, what has happened to Josh? Oh, Michael's still buried in the wall. What has happened to Josh Rayfield? Top 3 still the same, by the way. I'm keeping an eye on it. So what happened to Josh? Gets a bounce. Oh, bangs into the side of Liam Silkstone. And Josh is off and out of the race. And understandably very, very frustrated with how that went. Now, Jake Robertson has come in the pits. This could throw the championship wide open. If Jake has just got a drive-through for contact on that previous lap. Now it's Steve Burke, Matt Draycott, Michael Blake on for a podium. Majek, after going off early on, he's up to 4th here. Wow, what a crazy race this has been at Brands. Liam Silkstone now attacking Jack Werrell. Although, actually, no, Jack passed him this lap. Jack's gained 7 places in this race. Moves over to defend. Liam, a little bit aggressive there. Oh, more unnecessary contact. Liam doesn't give the room. And Derek Robb and Niall Crowther having a fight. Great to see the 2 dodgy MOT cars getting stuck in some battles. This is still so close, though, between Werrell and Silkstone. But yeah, like I say, the incident points will be looked at for next season. The drivers have all mentioned that it is a bit too harsh at points. It's difficult to overcome it over the course of a race that's this long. Now then, Michael Blake is attacking Matt Draycott. Part of the Might Just Fit team, the reigning team's champions. Attacking the Team Red Ring driver, who are the team in the box seat to take that title away. Steve Burke running away with this in front now. And he's only got 2 laps to go after this. Could Steve be on his way to take his 2nd feature race win of the season? In 2 race meetings? Oh, not like that. Oh. It's an interesting one. Luke Austin and Jake Robertson, the twins with internet troubles, are bouncing around all over the place. Jake needs to be careful here. Michael Jones is apparently in the pits, but yeah, the car was all over the shop there. Here's your leading trio as they come down the straight. Steve is starting to blink in and out a bit more now. Matt needs to count on that. And look for a disconnect, because that would be 3 points for Matt, but he's just having to work on holding off Michael Blake at the moment. Michael won 1 race last season at Snetterton as well, the feature race, which Steve won last time out. Jones will do anything for a bit of screen time. Is that so? Niall Crowther and Jack Werrell still in the points for dodgy MOT. They're bottom of the team standings at the moment. Around the final corner again. On to the final lap of this race. The final lap here in the British Touring Car Championship. Round 14. And it's Steve Burke for Nodaphone that is currently on his way to take a win, but Matt Draycott has to defend from Michael Blake to hold on to some championship points. And can he do it? Further back, the battles have opened up a little bit, so we'll keep our eyes on this for now. Michael's trying everything. You can see he's pushing hard. Hopefully he doesn't get a slowdown or anything, or a drive-through. But it looks to me like Steve Burke has done enough. Just needs to make sure it doesn't wobble around this final corner, and he is going to do it. For the second time this season and for the second time in 2 race meetings, Steve Burke takes a win in the British Boring Car Championship. Fantastic drive, mate. Matt Draycott second, Michael Blake gets a podium, Sakovic, fantastic evening for him, a race win and a 4th place on his return to the series. He'll be very pleased. Jake Robertson finishes 5th, just ahead of Luke Austin. 9 places gained for Luke though, what a drive. Jack Werrell finishes in 7th, 7 places gained for him. Liam Silkstone finishes 8th, puts it in the wall. Derek Robb gets some points, and Niall Crowther gets another point as well. And Andy Fox, unfortunately, mixed reviews, I'm sure, compared to last week for Andy. Michael Ellett has also finished the race, but Steve Burke is a 2-time race winner in the British Boring Car Championship, and the overlay likes him that much, it's kept his car at the bottom. Absolutely love that. So, Steve Burke, 2 race wins in 2 meetings. They don't come around often in this championship. Matt Draycott, another 2nd place to Steve Burke. That's the 3rd race out of 4 that he has done. Michael Blake, great podium. 7 seconds back from them though, Maciej Sakovic. Then Jake Robertson and Luke Austin. Jack Werrell, Liam Silkstone, Derek Robb and Niall Crowther. Those guys will all be very happy to get some points. They've all had very tough parts of their seasons so far. Speaking of tough seasons, Andy Fox outside of the points again, I'm afraid there. Michael Ellett finishes in 12th, 1 lap down. Josh Rayfield will be fuming after that. Michael Jones, after his incident, is 14th. Brian Crowell's 15 laps down as well. And Calvin Dent, of course, did not take the starts. Well, we'll have to look back to the very start of the race. Thank you very much, Pete. Really appreciate the kind words. Just going to load it back to the start. So, it's time to do some interviews. We'll have a look at who we've got, and well, who else to start with the interviews than the man himself who won that 2nd race, Steve Burke. Steve, you must be absolutely beaming with that, mate. 2 feature race wins in 2 weeks.
Yeah, absolutely over the moon, Chaz. Thank you. That was really tough. It's quite a tight circuit and very difficult to overtake.
Yeah, it certainly looked it. You had to hold off a lot of another onslaught from Matt Draycott again. Again, 2nd week running in a feature race that. But as it was a bit of a shorter race in terms of time, did it feel like there was much of a difference?
I just feel like there's red ring Audis around me all of the time. Yeah, so Josh pitted early and jumped both me and Matt, and Matt was right on my back bumper for first half of the race, and then I was just behind Josh when I came out of the pits.
Well, when you saw Josh come out in front of you, did that then worry you as to where Matt would be when he came out?
It did a little bit. I thought, because Matt pitted the lap after me, I thought that might cost him, and I think Jake just jumped him because we were so close to each other, so I was hoping that I could gap those two a little bit if they were fighting. I don't know what happened behind in the end, but obviously me and Josh gapped them a little bit.
Yeah, I've had a message from Matt. He's actually said he gave Jake a drive-through by accident. He had bent steering and he thought it was straight when he rejoined the circuit after just running wide, so...
right, okay.
It's a real shame, and I've mentioned it on stream that obviously the incident points excuse me, are being looked at for next season, but for the remainder of this season it's one of the talking points because it's very difficult to hold out, isn't it?
It is, but I think everybody in there is not hitting anybody on purpose, and the racing is clean and very hard. But it's good.
Certainly great fun to watch, mate. But again, well done on taking your 2nd win now. 2 weeks, 2 wins. You must be well happy. But before we let you go, of course, you know what's coming. Do you want to give anybody a shout out?
Definitely Nismo and Draycott, yourself for putting this series on.
Thank you.
Niall, as always, my virtual teammate Tom, who's not here unfortunately, and anybody called James.
Love it. Great to speak to you as always, Steve. Well done again, mate. Really pleased for you, and we'll see you next week.
Cheers. Thanks,
Cheers, mate. And a bit of a different interview for once. He interviewed me on Sunday, so now we're going to interview him on a Thursday. Getting some points his first points of the season in that race there. Jack Werrell. Jack, that looked like there was non-stop battling for you. It was all over the place, wasn't it?
It was great, yeah. I got in with about 10 seconds left to grid. Jumped in, I thought, right, we'll just take it as it comes. Got an all right start, picked up a position. Unfortunate incident with Blake. We watched that back and sort of we've decided sort of mutually what's happened there. And then, yeah, it was just me and Niall. We were in the chat constantly just laughing at each other because it was constantly swapping positions every single lap. Then I managed to just sort of back him off so much into Derek where I could start to pull a bit of a gap.
Yeah, Derek seemed to be the arch nemesis of the two dodgy MOT cars in that race. But, I mean, all of the time, we always say in this championship that there's always somebody to fight with out there. And it seemed like that came true tonight. Did you think that was more down to Brands Hatch Indy being such a short circuit, though?
I'm not sure really, because the standard of driving from last season in pure pace has massively stepped up. Like it's so tricky. Last season, I'm gonna toot my own horn here, but I got a win at round 2. This season, I wouldn't even dream of getting a win, because I know I don't have the pace. And I put in hours of practice or minutes of practice, and it always seems to level itself out. So I think, yeah, the track plays a massive part. Personally, with the vast sort of range of experience on the grid and the different pace that the drivers have got, you're never really bored, and that's what's so good, because strategy can play into that, penalties can play into that as well. So you literally, like you say, you're never ever bored. If you're driving in the middle of nowhere with nobody to battle with, you haven't done boring cars properly.
It's very true indeed, mate. But you know, Dodgy MOT got some good championship points out of tonight. They may still be languishing a bit further down in the team's championship, but overall, it's good to have you back. Are you looking forward to the final few rounds?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm hoping for more of the same. Third race for me personally in season 2, so to get some points on the board is nice. And yeah, just to give Dodgy MOT the extra couple of points towards the last couple of rounds is good. And me and Niall, we've said no team orders. If we're battling like we were tonight every single round, so be it. As long as we're having fun, that's what it's all about.
It is indeed, mate. I'm glad you said that. But great to speak to you as always, mate. Do you want to give a quick shout out to anyone?
Just Niall and Derek and probably all the other drivers that we saw today, just for being so sportsmanlike. I think there was a couple of unlucky 4Xs, but we were always making sure we gave each other room, doing a bit of door banging, trading a bit of pain, but at the end of the day we all had a laugh, and I think pretty much all of us got to the line as well. So yeah, just everybody, and of course yourself, for putting everything together and streaming it. Thank
you very much, Jack. Great to speak to you as always, mate, and we'll speak again very soon.
Yeah, thank you.
Cheers. Now, we tend to interview these boys in pairs anyway. We'll start with the unluckier of the two this evening, Josh Rayfield. Josh, when you came out from that pit stop and you were in the lead of the race, could you quite believe it? Because it seemed like you were the only one that jumped anybody.
No, honestly, I was expecting to sort of come out behind them, to be honest. If not, maybe just gain like a place or two. Nothing special. But then when I came out in front, I knew I kind of had to get my head down. And I had a 4X from the start, and just a few silly off tracks from Graham Hill where you run wide. And yeah.
Yeah, I saw that there was a little bit of contact with Steve as well when he went down the inside for the lead that caused the 4X, but down Graham Hill bend, it's always a tough one to get the overlap, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. It was nice clean racing against him and Steve. Steve couldn't do anything. I think he just took a bit too much to the curb, and the car just sort of like bounced and understeered a bit into me.
Yeah, we saw a lot of that at Graham Hill and, of course, at Paddock Hill Bend as well tonight. But, you know, either way, even though the race didn't go your way results-wise, you still seem to have a lot of fun out there. Are you enjoying this series this season more than last season?
Racing-wise, yeah. Results-wise, no.
Yeah.
I've sort of had bad results. I've always had like one good result, one bad result. I've never really had two solid results in a round at the moment, just because I just keep making mistakes.
Well, I hope the rest of the season goes as well for you, mate, and well, better, let's say, not as well, but you know, we hope it does come true in the end. Obviously, you got a couple of wins last season, maybe just one this season. They'll just turn all that luck around. Just move on to your teammate, Matt Draycott, who I imagine still leads the championship. You had a lot of hard work out there tonight, didn't you?
Yeah, it's not. I tried to sort of not sandbag, but I tried to just not give it me all in qualifying, because I didn't want to go for the points for the top 3 points, because I wanted to try and limit as many points as possible that Jake could get on me for this round.
Yeah.
So I started, it was like 6th, was it? I can't remember now. But there's just, because I knew for a fact that there's just nowhere to overtake on this track. Like, really, you've just got to wait for someone to make an opportunity and make a mistake. So it was difficult. I tried to keep a little bit of a gap from the car in front, because there's a lot of braking zones that you can miss, and corners. If you saw the second to last corner when I nearly went 90 degree.
Yeah,
yeah, that was a bit scary. But yeah, overall, obviously I had a little bump with Jake in the second race, which bent my steering, and then the rejoin is obviously my fault, and I have apologised. I gave him a drive-through from that because I thought my steering was straight, but then when I got onto obviously because the gravel, you could be turning, you could turn anyway, and it just won't turn. Yeah. So you think you're going straight, and then you hit the tarmac, and then it just jolts. So I thought it was straight, but it was just slightly right, which didn't help the cause.
No, definitely not.
But Jake's been sound about it, so.
Well, that's good then, because obviously, at this point now, it's big championship implications. It's gained you even more points on him at the top of the standings. So, I mean, I do have to ask, going into the final 2 race meetings, do you think that you can hold on and take the title?
Yeah. I mean, I'd be stupid if I said no, wouldn't I?
True.
I think it's all about damage limitation. Because he is quick. He's definitely the quickest in the series. Yeah. Not by much, but yeah, he is quickest. Definitely. So we've just got to, if we can have more like tonight, obviously without sort of causing stuff on purpose, obviously. We can limit his points. Obviously, if Josh works with me as well, and not anything malicious, but you know what I mean, just tactical.
Yeah. Well, Josh, coming back to you, mate, obviously with the Teams Championship up for grabs over Bordeaux, unfortunately, of course, Louis Hanker not out there, but considering that Jake's a one-man team, he's done a good job, I think you could say. But do the pair of you think that you're going to get some silverware for that this season if you just keep it clean?
Yeah, I do think so. If we can just keep the consistent points, because I keep getting points, but then obviously mess up a race, so it doesn't extend our lead for as much as we want to. But as long as I can kind of keep scoring some points, I think we should be okay.
Smashing stuff. Well, good to speak to you, boys. The Wenger boys, as you call yourselves in this championship. Josh, I'll start with you. Anyone you want to give a shout out to?
Yeah, shout out to my mum, my dad, Darren, Gavin, Connor, everyone who supports me. Calvin for the magnetic shifters on my wheel, because I've been meaning to shout them out for the past few rounds, but I kept forgetting about it. And yeah, you for hosting the series, and Matty for being teammate.
Cheers. And Matt, anyone you want to thank?
Yeah, Mum and Lawrence because they're watching downstairs.
Yep.
Obviously Josh for being my teammate and being dead supportive and helping us. The boys in the chat, because they're all a good laugh, and there's never, even if you go off topic while you're racing, then you don't get anyone shouting down your ear roll. Bosco, obviously, and Rick.
Rick, indeed. Well, good to speak to you, boys. Well done tonight, lads, and hopefully we'll see you do just as well next time round.
Cheers.
Cheers, mate.
Cheers, boys. Right then, that rounds out another evening in the British Boring Car Championship here on Chaz Draycott Media. It's been a very busy night, and well, we knew that Brands Hatch Indy was going to be a corker. I do apologise, of course, for the issues with the stream earlier. It is now becoming a recurring theme, which is a massive shame, and I will work on fixing it for future rounds. But I hope you've enjoyed it, and I certainly have, despite the technical issues. We work past them. At the end of the day, it's technology. We're all trying to do our best here. But this has been rounds 13 and 14 of the British Boring Car Championship. I've been Chaz Draycott, and we'll see you at Alton Park in a week's time.